Hey everyone, it is Wednesday. You know what that means. Time for Humpday Happy Hour with Dentist in the Know. This is your backstage pass for current trends, politics, and education in the dental world. It's live and it's over the cocktail of your choice. Tonight, a little, one of my favorite Pinot Noirs, Gary Farrell. If you've never had the chance to go out there in the Russian River Valley, would definitely recommend it. Great little sipping wine. And anyway, I'm excited to be here with you. Things getting close on my building and all that other garbage I've been complaining about for the last 3 years. So a lot of good stuff happening. Really, really excited. This will be the last broadcast from the Horowitz Studios, coming from the backyard in Conway, South Carolina. Having to clear this all out. My son finishing his first 2 years of medical school and starting his rotations here in the Grand Strand area. So he let us know he'd be moving back in the house. And I said, "Oh, no, you're not." That's what the guest house is for. So my backyard studio will be transformed into the pad for my son, and my studios will be moving back in the house along with some work being done out here. So last time you're going to see all this backdrop, and things will be a little different next time, but we'll still be coming to you. I do this little program with two of my best friends in the world, Dr. Jennifer Bell and Dr. Chad Duplantis. Unfortunately, Dr. Chad Duplantis, who has been quite the busy bee this year, is not going to be with us this week for traveling, nor is he going to be here next week. But that's okay. We love you. He's keeping the DINKs name really out there in the public dental eye, I should say, or the dental eye, I guess. But anyway, JB, our job, as you know, is to bring all of those people in the know. So what do you think? Should we do that?
It's what we do.
It's what we do.
It's what we do.
Yeah. So you seem to be in when you came on today, seem to be in a kind of a I'm not sure about today mode. Yeah.
Well, it's summer. Everybody else is kind of taking time off.
Yeah. Except us.
And yet here we are. So that's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. No,
Yeah.
I actually want to dig into this a little bit more. I think there's a story here about when our big kids come back. I want to talk about this a little bit. Okay, first off, I'm concerned where Studio 2 is going. So what are our plans to make sure that you are podcast ready by next week?
Yeah. Well, the home studio, so the room here, which you cannot see, basically everything is gone except for the bare necessities for me to do this: my mic, the desktop, my laptop, and the television, which will...
And your Rush pictures.
Well, right, but
obviously.
But that's just back there. Like the other Rush pictures are gone. Like, so the room is bare. We've been...
Luke didn't want those?
Well, it's Joel that's moving
I'm
back.
sorry, Joel. He didn't want those?
Of course he wants them, but he can't freaking have them.
Right.
That's my Rush shizzle. You don't mess with my Rush shizzle.
Plus, we have to set up Studio B.
So. Right. Plus, the new and improved Horowitz Studios need to be set up, and who knows what's going to go where and how it's going to be organized. I just need to have my stuff. Right. It's already a thing when your kid comes home to live with you again after he hasn't lived with you for a while. Don't get me wrong. I love when he comes to visit.
Right.
But and Ginny too. We love when they come visit, but we also love when they kind of go back for a little bit too.
Right.
And it's nothing. We love the time when they're here. It's just, it's just an extra person or two, or it seems like sometimes 7, that you got to clean up behind and go, didn't I teach you that? Didn't I teach you?
Yeah.
Like,
Don't you know better?
Yeah, you're on your own now, buddy. So Anyway, good news is he will save a lot on rent while he's doing his rotations, but he and his dog may not permanently live in our home again.
Okay. Was he the one with peaches, or was that?
No, that was Luke. That was
Okay.
my artist. Imagine
Okay.
that.
Yeah, that fact checks. I
Yeah.
just wanted to also
Yeah.
make sure we were prepared for any extra animals that might come along for the ride.
Well, Joel has a long-haired dappled dachshund, and cute as can be, Rhett, but he is not allowed to move in.
Right.
Yeah. He barks a lot. He's very needy, and I love dogs. We love to babysit Rhett.
Dachshunds though are a bit yappy.
Yeah. And he's very territorial, like a lot of Dachshunds are. He's a male Dachshund, so he wants to pee on anything that anyone else goes near, and he just has all those crazy traits. But yeah, so a lot of stuff going on here. But I think if we can get through this summer, it's gonna kind of be sailing.
Summer 2025 be the summer of conclusions.
Yes, I
could
really
it be the summer of conclusions?
It certainly will be, and I know that you finally reached the ending with your backyard renovation as well. So,
yeah. And now we're actually enjoying it.
So
18 months later, so nice.
I think we can truly call this the summer of love, like the good kind.
Not the weird.
Right.
Not the weird kind, the good kind.
No, I'm not talking weird. I'm just saying.
Not like the hippie Woodstock kind. Like we're not.
No, the summer of good things happening.
Right.
And transition and moving on. And so next phases, I think, for all of us. I mean, you got one, kind of on the brink of graduating soon, has been driving, and, Chad is an empty nester, and just so much happening.
I haven't really talked about this, but it probably feels like a safe time. I also am now the CEO and owner of a landscape company.
Excellent. Which
I didn't really see that in my future, but here we are.
Yeah. So Ben is the sole employee at this point?
He's my general manager.
I kind of thought, but hey, what better lesson than to have him involved in
it's already stressing him out. All the decisions of insurance and expenses, revenue, P&L. So good.
What a great experience. I love that.
Yeah, but I'm his CEO, so he probably does hate that part.
Well, you know what? He should have to answer to somebody. It's okay.
Who better than your mom, who's going to love you unconditionally no matter how much you screw up,
Yeah. Hold on on a Zoom call. Hold on one second. I got to talk to management. Hey, Ma! Hey, Ma!
Snacks!
The meatloaf! We want it now!
Exactly.
Hey, we have an amazing show. I know you and I can banter about this kind of stuff all day long. We have a great show. First of all, the American Independent Dental Alliance is a sponsor for us. They are an educational partner, and they have done so much with us and for us at Dentists in the Know. And one of the most important people behind all of AIDA's educational enterprises has been Dawn Metcalf, who we have known and worked with for such a long time. She's one of our favorite people. We're going to maybe talk a little bit about Mexico tonight, which I'm excited about again. We will be back in Mexico. Dawn will be talking about that. So yeah, thanks to AIDA Education, and Dawn Metcalf, who will be joining us in just a short little while. And in the meanwhile, JB, do you think you might have some news?
I do. Even in this slow stench of
It is slow
summer,
right now.
there's always something a brewing.
Yeah.
Shall I?
All
I
right,
mean,
do
there's a
it.
war in Israel and Iran.
Oh, that little
There's
thing.
like there's
Yeah,
a lot going on, but you know, Fed's
yeah,
didn't lower interest rates. That doesn't help anybody who's thinking about buying dental equipment or any, there are some things that we could talk about, but we're going to focus on some high level stuff.
yeah, yeah. Not my parents moving into the house in the other backyard, and my
Wait,
son moving into this
w-
backyard, and um,
wait,
yeah,
wait. You have a compound now?
yeah. It's pretty much a compound.
Yeah,
It's like a little square block of the Harawai
of
is
the
what's
Horror.
yeah. I think that's plural. Anyway,
Yeah,
all
that
right,
might
go
be
do
an
it.
island now. Okay.
Yeah, go do it.
All
This
right,
is obviously news for another day. Okay,
let's get to
go.
it. So I came across this article today and I thought it was super interesting. Researchers at Tufts University are developing a new dental implant that they're trying to get to reconnect to the body's nerve system. So, as dentists, we understand when we put titanium in, it doesn't truly behave like a tooth. Obviously, incredibly rigid, doesn't move, and it doesn't have any innervation. So there's no communication to the body about pressure or proprioception, position, all of that kind of stuff. So the researchers at Tufts University are trying to solve that problem by creating some way to create interconnectivity between the dental implant and the nerve tissue. It would be some type of biodegradable coating that they're playing around with that would then create some type of innervation response. As with any of these types of innovations, I'm sure this will be the first gen of many to try to move down this path, and each gen will get a little bit better. But I think it's really cool that they're trying to, as dentists, when we say it's the closest thing to a tooth that we have to offer, maybe we can actually be a little bit more sincere about that sentiment and say it is actually getting really close to a tooth, which is the best thing we have to offer. HPI coming out of the ADA, which has been the health statistics, they've been tracking this out of the Health Policy Institute for a really long time. I think really started around COVID. And they got so much great data out of it that they've sort of continued to collect information and surveying dentists on a weekly and monthly basis to to garner information on the ground about what's happening in a dental practice. So one of the recent stats that they put out really highlighted practice ownership, and they did find, I thought this was a really refreshing statistic. In my own mind, I sort of falsely assumed that a lot of the new grads or younger grads were not really pursuing practice ownership. But the data now would support that, in fact, it's just slightly delayed, where graduates that came out in the 90s and late 90s, early 2000s were pursuing ownership very early in their practice years. Somewhere between 5 and 10 years, they were usually practice owners at that point. Now we're seeing an uptick of that delay. So maybe they're waiting 10 to 20 years before they will finally open. And I'm sure a lot of that has to do with student debt, the cost of dental school, being in the right environment, getting their skill sets up, and life. The younger generation actually has a very keen sense of work life balance. They're very focused on family and making sure that they find this right magical prescription between working and also being available to raise their family and to do what they need to do for others. So maybe that's what we're now seeing is this sort of level set of finding that sweet spot for practice ownership. But it's actually very refreshing for me to see that while it may be delayed, the general instinct of our young doctors is still that single shingle wanting to open and control their own destiny. And, I have to say, one of the best decisions I also made as well as a practicing dentist. All right, the last little piece of news for this evening is kind of sensational, which I don't tend to do very often. But I was reading this list and I was like, okay. That's super interesting. So here are some high level stats going on in the world of dentistry today. It's the top players of dentistry. The largest DSOs, I bet most of you could name it right off the top of your hat, but it is Heartland DSO at 1,700 practices. Aspen Group is at 1,300, and PDS actually is close to 1,000. Fastest growing companies, non-DSO related, are Grow 3X. They had 151% 2-year growth. Planet DDS, 185% growth, and Next Level Consultants with a 95% 2-year growth. Best dental insurance plans. Now, guys, I'm going to be really honest with you. As I was reading this, I did kind of chuckle a little. Okay, here we go. Denali Dental is the best overall. I've never actually heard of it. Delta Dental, best for braces. We're going to really niche in on that one. Spirit Dental is best for value. Emeritus, best for no waiting periods. And Guardian Direct, best for teeth whitening. That's what we look for in dental insurance plans. Okay, we're going to refocus. Sensationalizing the news. Richest people in dentistry today. Thomas Strawman, I think we all know him from a very famous implant. He's now worth $5.1 billion. Heike Kiostila, I'm guessing is Japanese, from Planmeca. He is the president of Planmeca currently at $2.1 billion. Christopher Zeller, who inherited dental products company Ivoclar Vivadent, past CEO, $1.3 million. And Simone Mogg, who owns 3.5 of Strawman. Strawman apparently is the cash cow of dentistry at $1.1 billion. Now, the last stat we'll focus on, and I'm sure there'll be plenty to argue, top best dental schools in the U.S. UNC Chapel Hill is at the top, which going to have to brag about that one. University of California, San Francisco, and the University of Iowa College of Dentistry. Let me just look through this list really quick to see if I see any of the ones that the other DINK. Nope. None of the other DINKs attended a highly ranked dental school. So I think that explains a lot about our show. And with that, that's the news.
All right. So, all right, I'm going to let that comment go about not attending.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
I actually don't know where that data comes from. So it could be totally like the people who wrote it could actually be from UNC. Like, I don't know.
So, yeah, exactly. I did come from one of the best clinical schools in the country. We were not known for research at the Medical University.
If your last name isn't Strawman, I don't want to know about it.
Yeah, I get it. What about Glidewell? He's got to be up there.
He didn't make the list.
I don't believe that based on the numbers.
You think he's worth $1 billion?
Huh? It would not surprise me. Maybe.
All right, I'm going to do my research. I will come back next week. But the lowest, the number 4 on the list was $1.1 billion.
Wow. Okay.
So he could be like $995 million, which ain't shabby, but it isn't going to make the top 4.
Yeah. And fair. And plus he also hadn't completely sold out. That a lot of times it's
correct.
Going public or completely selling is what props you up there as
that's
the
right.
So another thing that I wanted to mention, how many practices did you say the largest DSO had now?
1,700. That's Heartland.
Well, guess what? The list is wrong then.
What do you know?
Do you know the American Independent Dental Alliance, which is a grouping of independent practitioners that have coalesced under this basic DSO where you don't have to sell anything, is 2,500, more than 2,500 practices right now.
Wait, what?
More than 2,500 practices right now.
Okay.
Over 3,000 doctors. I mean, that is bigger. They are now obviously one of the largest DSOs out there, yet why are we still having to talk about this? This is a pretty amazing group. And this is the group that Dawn is now heading up the education for and putting together these programs for. And you don't even have to be a member of AIDA to attend a lot of these programs, but the cost to join AIDA is so reasonable. Why wouldn't you and take advantage
What you're
of?
saying is you could own your own practice, be a
Yes.
part of the largest group of practices in the US
Yeah,
to leverage buying power to get
exactly.
discounts, affordable education, fellowship.
And
Like,
I know this
and you
sounds
don't have to
planned.
give up your freedom.
No, you do not. This sounds planned, but I had no idea you were going to
No,
do
I know.
that
I
news
didn't either.
segment. But when I heard you talk about the number of practices that were involved, I'm like, wait a minute. AIDA's got more practices than
Yeah.
that.
I
That
actually didn't know it was 2,500.
Yeah. And it's like, I want to say last count was something like 30. Dawn can correct us on this, but it was more than like 3,900 doctors, I believe.
That's
Like that.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy numbers.
Maybe we shouldn't publish this because while it's really good for AIDA, it's kind of nice to fly just slightly under the
Yeah.
radar.
Under the radar. Yeah.
You know?
I get that. But it's
We'll
just
let Dawn decide.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll let Dawn decide. But what a cool organization. But so I'm questioning some of your data, JB. That's what I'm saying.
I'm submitting a retraction to the news segment and also submitting an update to where I sourced it from.
Yeah, exactly. But
On it.
no one does news better than you, JB.
Well, and when we get it wrong, we just go to next week.
Yeah, exactly. and hope for fewer clicks. That's all.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that week. Anyway,
Ish.
why don't we bring Dawn on so she can maybe talk about some of these things, talk about AIDA education and her role in bringing really high quality education to that group. And if you don't mind, I'm going to do a little intro for her. Dawn Metcalf is someone that I met while she was running the show over at a company called Midway Dental. Her father actually started that dental supply company. Dawn started out managing a sales territory and eventually became the owner, and then went on to develop educational programs and a whole educational platform called MEC Education, which is really how the whole Mexico thing started in the first place. And really, I've never met anyone with a greater passion for bringing quality experiences that bring people together and high quality education at the same time. And that's just her, but she's really very interested in helping dentists that want to stay independent, and that's kind of one of the mantras of the American Independent Dental Alliance. But most importantly, she is just passionate about quality education in the CE space and supporting all those dentists who want to learn at a higher level and really build their own practices up. So without further ado, oh, you already brought her up. See, I had to switch screens. So hi, Dawn. Welcome.
Hi, Jeff. How are you? Hi, Jen.
Yeah.
Hi.
Good
Do you
to see
like
you
me
guys tonight.
You like me being able to quote those numbers?
Yes, I love to hear those numbers. We're trending for 3,000 offices by the end of the year. So very exciting.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
But I had no idea JB was even going to talk about that tonight. Quite honestly, I don't think JB knew she was going to talk about that till about an hour ago.
About 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Well, it is a little bit of a unicorn. It's a very, very different DSO. Obviously, we're not independently owned like so many of the DSOs in the United States. And it's really just a community. And we love that we're associated as a DSO because of the benefits and the partnerships that we have with our manufacturers so that we can get those buying deals and those service deals to extend to our members. And that's where that DSO category becomes so important for us.
Do you want to maybe just take a second, since all of this kind of came up off the cuff? Do you want to maybe take a second and talk about how AIDA actually started, and maybe how you moved from the dental supply space to becoming an educational director for AIDA and AIDA education?
Oh my goodness, I don't know if we have enough time for all that. That's a really long story. When Midway Dental sold, I thought I was going to retire, and I was very excited about that. But I was contacted by AIDA, and I had long-term relationships with a lot of the partner dental dealers that support the AIDA group, and that's Nashville Dental, Atlanta Dental, Midwest, and Getsy Dental. And they encompass 24 states in the US. So I knew all these people from having dental supplies, and obviously we all conglomerate just like the dentists do. And they called me and wanted to know if an education platform could be created for AIDA, as I'd done at Midway Dental. And even though I loved sales, the majority of my career was sales and management with a dental dealer, I absolutely loved the education part of it. That was my last segment of my career. I did it for 6 to 7 years at Midway, and it honestly was the most rewarding. It filled my cup. It makes me very happy when I'm at an event and I can set up an event and I have a clinician that can come up to me and say, "Wow, you made my life so much easier. You made my life able to give the benefit to the patient. You made me more money. You made me more streamlined," whatever, fill in the blank. You delivered more work-life balance. I'm very big on work-life balance. And I think all those things is what makes me happy and passionate. And I think I can also understand. I mean, both you and Jen own your own practices. You understand all the different hats that you have to wear. It's the same thing when you own a dental supply company. And my heart goes out to the dentists when I see all the changes that are having in the environment and the community today, and thinking, oh my gosh, how are you doing this? So I really try to find clinicians that are speakers like both of you, that feel their pain and that can speak to them, and not only just come in and tell them how to do better dentistry, but how to run their businesses better, because we all know that that's part of it, a very key part of it. So that's one thing I strive for. So I started with AIDA about 2.5 going on 3 years ago. All of their teams have fantastic education teams now that has learned my secret sauce for creating these events. And we started having Aspire, which, as you said, was a spinoff from my days at Midway with Mech. And it's been fabulous. We are coming up now in our 3rd year. We have almost doubled our numbers every year, and I know this one's going to be the same. This experience with Aspire is so much different than any other event that you're going to go to in dentistry. There's so many. I mean, we've got cruises, we have destinations. They're all out there, and I think they're all good on so many different levels. But what we strive to do here is to have everyone be an independent dental practice, all coming in. They're all pulling the rope the same direction. They're all feeling each other's pain. And I hear these conversations that happen in the pool or at a swim up bar or at a party. And they're saying, wow, how do you do this in your practice that's 5 states away? How do you do this? How do you do this? And there's just a camaraderie that happens at this event that I don't think that you see many other places.
I have to agree 100%. I went to, when it was Midway, and now having gone to Aspire, and a couple of things struck me right out the gate. One, being able to go to an event and you're just sort of taken care of from start to finish, and not because I'm anybody, because that's the way it's all structured. There's events and activities and downtime and education, and you don't really have to worry too much about some amazing evening activities. Where will you go to hang out with your team when you go to this event? Well, we're all going to go to this party afterwards, and there's going to be flame eaters and tropical dancers. And then there's going to be this whole vibe going on, and they're going to have experiences that they might not have ever had before. Like, I think as practice owners, that's something that we always strive for, is to give our team the opportunity to participate in activities that is new and different, and expands them beyond our own little community and our own little world, and broadens their horizon. And then they get to meet other people too, who can commiserate and all the other things as well. But that was the thing that struck me absolutely from the get-go, Dawn, was how well it was organized, how well taken care of everybody is from the moment they arrive to the moment they leave.
Yeah, the devil's in the details. And
100%.
I have an amazing team that assists me with everything. We plan. I mean, I was on the phone today for 2 hours with the Hyatt Ziva, making sure that we get everything set up the way we want. And, and maybe that's a good time to even jump into that. I mean, we're going to a completely different resort this year. I mean, the first year we were in Cancun. We went to the Hilton Cancun. It was very condensed. It was a beautiful location, but it was very condensed with a very large convention center. Last year we went to Hilton Tulum. The resort was also beautiful, but it was not a high rise. It was spread out around the coast. Everybody had this beautiful beach view. Water was gorgeous, but the convention center was a little bit further away. We were all on golf carts, kind of coming, going, but it was still a great experience. This year, I feel like we have the best of both worlds. It's going to be in Cabo San Lucas. We are 15 minutes away from the airport this time, so no hour-and-a-half drive like we had last time. We are not going to get rain because we're in Cabo and they get no rain in January. If it rains in January, I quit because it's just never happens.
We're done. We're done.
Yeah, exactly. Never happens. So we've got lots of outside activities. It's absolutely gorgeous. The Hyatt Ziva, we are going to have the run of the place. The convention center is right off the lobby. We have the whole convention center to ourselves. So it's really going to be a unique experience that we can walk wherever we go. We're going to be 2/3 of the resort. And they've got multiple pools, a beautiful beach. They have 8 amazing bars. I mean, they have a martini bar. They have a cigar bar. They have a tequila bar. They have a sports bar. I mean, they have, we all know how important bars are in dentistry.
Clearly. In January, most importantly.
Yes.
In January. Work.
Yes. They have 8 restaurants. So if you're only going to be there for the event, that's only 3 nights. You have to really strategically place where you want to go for your dinner. But they have some beautiful restaurants there. And it's just an amazing location. I'm very excited. If you couldn't tell, I'm very excited about this location. I think it's going to offer a lot of things. I try to create a different experience with every different Aspire. And I think this is going to be a very different feel to Mexico. I think Cabo is a little bit more upscale on a Mexico feel. And I'm really excited about it. I think everybody that comes is really going to enjoy it.
Well, dare we talk about the education?
Oh, yeah.
That is ultimately.
No, that's a part I always want to get talking about.
Yeah, dare we?
Excited about the resort, which I know is equally fun. But the CEs we're offering, we start actually, let me go back a little bit. When you get there on Thursday, you get welcomed with a reception that evening. Then Friday morning, we start bright and early at 8:30 and go to 12:30 with education. So it's 4 hours each day and on Friday and Saturday. Parties Friday night and Saturday night. So you go to dinner with your team, you have a beautiful evening, you come to a party, you network with friends, have a great time, rinse and repeat, do it again on Saturday night. We blow it out with a party on Saturday night and everybody goes home on Sunday. So it goes very, very quickly, all too quickly actually. But it's 8 hours of CE. You get your whole afternoon off to yourself. And the CE lineup that I have this year, I am just super excited about. We have implants with Dr. Worley. So implants are obviously a very hot topic right now. So we're going to be talking about implants in a breakout. We have Katrina Sanders, which is probably one of the top RDHs on the circuit today. She's going to not only do a breakout on periotherapy. I'll tell you guys, because I'm on DINKs, I can just do this. I had to read this. Her literal course description. This is a quote. Dental rendition of Dr. Pimple Popper. I love that. I absolutely love that.
That's awesome.
It literally has a hazard sign on it saying graphic photography.
Let's go.
She is getting into the weeds with treatments and with just showing all of the patients and periodontal surgery and therapy. I mean, this is not going to be for amateurs. This is going to be for people that really want to get into it. And Katrina is amazing at this stuff. Go ahead. Were you going to say something, Jeff?
No, go ahead. You finish talking about the
I thought you wanted to talk about Dr. Pimple Popper or something. I didn't want to,
No. I had a comment, but I'm going to wait for you to finish.
All right.
He wants to pop that pimple.
And
Yeah,
she's also going to be our keynote. This is the first female keynote we're going to have. So I'm very excited about that. She's going to talk about climbing the mountain high heels. So this is going to be a really fun keynote. It's going to be motivational. It's a specialty on the dental, talking about burnout and all the things, going on in dentistry. So I think that's going to get everybody excited. We also have another female by the name of Ann Rice. She's also an RDH. She's not going to be talking about hygiene. She's going to be talking about the women's health and our brains and all the different things that make up women's health as we age and what happens to our brains a little bit differently than men. So I think that's going to be a great just women's health breakout to really gain some awareness. And I think it's definitely much needed. Getting back to clinical, we're going to have DINKs. We're going to have 2 DINKs. We're going to have Dr. Ryan Walsh, the 4th DINK.
He's a dunk.
He's a donk.
Okay, he's a donk.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. And he's, of course, an endodontist. And he's going to team that with our very own Chad Duplantis, as you know, as a general practitioner. And they're going to be talking about trauma. I mean, do you have a trauma protocol? How can you make it better? Are you really as prepared as you think you are? When to send them to the endodontist? What you can do in your own practice? All those types of questions. And I'm very excited about this. I mean, that is not something that you see every day. And we all need to have that in our practices. We need to have those protocols, for when you get that call at, 3:00 in the afternoon on a Sunday and, your favorite patient's kid knocked out their front teeth, just little things like that. You need to know what to do. So the last one that we've also got, Chad's going to do 2. Let's not shortchange Chad. Chad's going to do 2. He's going to do another one. And the name on it, I love this title, Stimulating the Visual Cortex. I mean, doesn't that sound, Chad? Stimulating the visual cortex. I love it.
Actually, that's way bigger words.
Yeah, he probably had to use a thesaurus.
That had to be a Chat GPT.
Chat GPT.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's going to be talking about treatment planning and all the tools that you have available to you out there and how you can have better communication with your patients to get them to say yes to treatment. We all need that. And Chad is going to be a rock star and things like that. So I'm very excited to have him for that breakout. And last but not least, so many of the feedback surveys that I've done in the last 2 years at Aspire, everybody wants more pediatric dental. Everybody wants more pediatric dental. And finding KOLs that are pediatric dentists are hard. I mean, there's just not a lot of them going around. So I was able to get Dr. Jeanette McLean. I saw her 3 years ago at Star of the North. She is amazing. She's absolutely amazing. It took me 3 years to get her. I finally got her. And she's going to be there at one of our breakouts as well. So I think this lineup is going to be a great time. And there's going to be something for everybody in the practice.
That's what I love. Of course,
we have the DINKs for closing session. I mean, everybody's going to want to go to that.
Well, we give stuff away.
I know.
So
that is an added bonus. You guys get to
incentivized
give stuff away. It's always fun with that. I totally agree.
You can definitely feel that we are the last thing separating them from the rest of their vacation. It's like, yes,
I agree.
We make them come to get the goods.
Yeah,
we make them come. But you know what? What amazes me about this meeting is, everyone wants to show up because of that sense of community. So it's not like you walk in and there are empty rooms. It's completely full. Everyone that's there is there to learn. And you always do such an amazing job at making sure that everyone on the team has something that they'll be able to bring something back to the practice with.
Absolutely.
So yeah. And so it's never like we've had to engineer something that keeps everyone there, but it's just a great way to close out the CE part by just giving away a lot of great stuff and talking about, what's on the books for the next year and here's what you have to look forward to. And let's keep the sense of community that's really built during these meetings.
Oh, I totally agree. And so many of the doctors, I've had some really good conversations with doctors lately that are trying to be creative with the things that they provide for their staff. I mean, we all know how difficult it is to keep team members. I mean, it just is. I mean, trying to find help, especially right now after COVID, it just seems to be the number one problem that everybody wants to talk about is staff retention. How much do you think you're going to retain your staff if you take them on a destination trip once a year. I mean,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then while you're there, to be able to team build and the sense of community and just the different things that I see going on. The
Mhm.
first year we saw so many doctors come, and the second year those doctors brought their staffs and their teams. It was just such a, it's just really great seeing how that happens. I also have had some doctors that now are giving that in lieu of a Christmas party or in lieu of a Christmas bonus or a yearly bonus. They're using it also as a tool to say, if we make a goal for the year, whatever that goal is, then I'll pay for your trip 100%. So I think the doctors are getting very creative with using these type of destination trips to be able to go and reward their teams with it. And the teams get super excited. The thing that's also cool about this trip is the affordability. I mean, I see the prices that are on all of these destinations out there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I cannot believe it personally. I mean, our tuition is $1,398 per person. It's $1,398 for a non-member. Right now, we have it for $1,098 until August 1st for a non-AIDA member. If you're an AIDA member, you get 50% off. So, you know, if you want to join AIDA, you can get 50% off for all of your Aspire people coming. So that pays for itself, number one. But
Mhm.
if you are a DINKs member, we are also extending a dinky deal to the DINKs members that they can attend for $599. So for $599, if you're a DINKs member, you can come per person and bring your staff. The night at Hyatt Ziva is $656 for a double. Now that's all inclusive, everybody. So that's
Yeah.
$656 a night, $328 a person per day. That's your hotel, all the drinks, all the food, all the entertainment, everything all in. You pay for nothing after that. So if you
And I
want
think,
to go to the spa or something like that, that's a little bit additional charges.
right.
But that is it.
So that's one of the, to me, one of the secret sauces that you have is that you've always chosen these all-inclusive resorts that are really high end, not, you know, not like what you're, you know,
No, these
what
are
would
not
come
wristband places, and it's not,
right.
you know, it's quality food, it's quality liquor, it's quality.
Right, but I think that's the dilemma for most practice owners when they start thinking about bringing a team to a meeting is, what is this ultimately going to cost me? How do I regulate, you know, who gets to have what dinner and who gets to have what drinks? What do I include? When do I have to say no? This just takes all of that off the table. Like, you know what your all-in cost is for. Look, you're going to get all the drinks, you're going to have all the CE, you're going to have all the parties, and you're going to get to hang out at this amazing resort, and that's all there for you. Anything above and beyond is on you. You want to go for a spa treatment, or, you know, you want to
Or
give
golf.
that away to
There's golf courses all around us. So
Yeah.
all that is extra, but you can also come in 3 days early or stay 3 days late and still get that AIDA price.
Mm.
So, if I can, what I'd like to do is, you have a little video about
Mhm.
Aspire. So I'm going to try and share my screen from the AIDA
Great.
website
This
where
was
that
actually
is.
taken from last year.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen, and let's do that.
Woohoo!
Can y'all see that and hear it?
Yes.
It's always such a great blend of education, but then a lot of camaraderie, a lot of fellowship, a lot of great parties at the end of the night.
Education, they have the right clinical supplies, they have the staff, they have the infrastructure to make sure their business is thriving in that private practice environment.
American Independent Dental Alliance puts people around you that are very similar to you, who really care about their patients.
The sense of community that people feel through the AIDA group is one of the most important attributes.
Dentistry has been able to afford me an opportunity, a career to support my family. It's given me the opportunity to be up here and speak to y'all today. And for that, I'm completely grateful.
AIDA brings you a like-minded community of people that help support you in every aspect of your practice with all the benefits of being part of the DSO.
I would say this is one of the you can't miss events in dental across the year.
I was here last year and I will be here again next year.
Me too. I'm going to bring my team next year.
Yes.
For those that are coming, I mean, sign up early.
Look into AIDA 2026. Dinks out.
I will say that because you had that half screen, you actually, because you're short, we could see your whole face.
Yeah, if you look at the Aspire website, it's full screen. It's not, your head's not cut off.
This might have been a play for Jeff to look tall.
I love that.
It's possible.
You and Chad couldn't be seen, but he was full view.
Right.
Exactly. But no, it was a great event. It was a fun event, and this year will be hopefully even more fun with the things that we've got developing for this great time, great destination trip.
I gotta ask, guys, what does the screen look like now? Because
it's just black.
I am in Tool Wonderland right now. Yeah.
There you are. She fixed it. You know,
okay.
I keep saying Jen's the brains of the operation.
Hey, listen, I have 4 screens going right now. So we are definitely testing my well, I mean, I have AIDA website on one. I have us on another. I have the PowerPoint on another for AIDA. And yeah, so it's just a bit much for this 58-year-old brain, you guys.
I was going to say, are you studying to be an air traffic controller on the side?
Oh,
I those.
They're hiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd want that job. I have enough stress in my life without that.
But if anybody is interested, I mean, we post, often on the DINKs page, but if everybody is interested in getting a little bit more information, my email, very easy, education@aidagroup.org, or you can also go on to our webpage, of course, at aidagroup.org and find out our homepage, but there is a special page there for Aspire. You can also see all of our education events. We do education live all across the United States. We also do education virtually, which your own Dr. Jennifer Bell is going to do a business series, everything I wish they would have taught in dental school this fall.
So excited.
It's going to be an amazing series. Jen and I think have been working on this for about, a year and a half?
Yep.
And we finally are going to get it done. So we're very excited about that one. And you can register on that website.
And I can tell you, people will get so much more than their money's worth on that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know what JB puts into her programs as it is, but just her vast knowledge and her experience in what she's been through with her own practices and the path that she's taken. There's really very few out there with the business acumen and the perspective that JB brings. So I know everyone's going to be in for a treat with that program.
Yes, I totally agree. It's on a Tuesday evening, 3 Tuesday evenings. You can get the exact dates, but literally the tuition is $20 for that hour and a half of CE. And it's ridiculous. And this is what AIDA does. This is what we do. We try so hard to give you quality education without a big selling point on it. We have amazing sponsors that pick up so much of our costs so that we can keep those costs low. We know you guys have so many bills. You don't need another bill on your CE. So we try to keep it very affordable. But I think anybody that's been at any of our events know that we don't just give you a sales presentation. We give you quality education for a very, very nominal fee.
I literally spent more than that at the grocery store buying marinade for my skirt steaks tonight.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's ridiculous. I mean,
so something that could actually change your practice.
Yeah, that was very detailed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So, I do want to throw this up for a minute. Because I really want to talk about this because AIDA is such a hidden secret, and I'm amazed even when, we've been partnered with AIDA in education for several years now, and I'm amazed, even going to programs that are put on by the 4 companies that are partnered with in AIDA, which are Midwest Dental, Atlanta Dental, Nashville Dental, and Getsy Dental. I'm amazed, even going out there to those meetings sometimes, that these individual dental distributorships put on, that some of the people still aren't really aware of what AIDA is and what it can offer, and how little they have to give up to take advantage of all of these opportunities and education and buying power and business courses and business, supporting business services and things like that. So I did just want to share this for a second. So let me pull this up, and let's see. Let's go to here. Give me just a second, folks.
He's got a slide. He just has to find which one.
We're close. So this is these are basically the 4 companies that are partnered with AIDA. So you don't even have to be a current customer of any of these companies to join AIDA. I mean, just what you get in education alone pays for itself. But these are all like-minded companies. And every one of these companies is privately owned and started, within a family, and still very much family owned and operated, even with their expansion. And these companies have been around for a long time, but they really focus on customer service, and they really want their dentists who want to stay independent remain independent. So a lot of things that you can get from being a member of AIDA, practice development, of course, your buying power, practice growth, all of the business solutions that are out there. But really, it's about the education, making that money worthwhile. Like, it costs so little to become a member of AIDA. And if you go to one meeting or take advantage of one opportunity, like what JB is offering in the fall, you have paid for your AIDA membership. Just with that, forget about all of the buying opportunities that you have. So AIDA is now made up of 24 states. These are the actual statistics. I just pulled this up from the AIDA site. 2,565 practices, 3,847. I'm sorry, I misquoted when I said 3,900. I was pretty darn close.
You're close.
Though. Yeah. And more than 23,000 clinicians, and all of these people really forming a community that has really come together and coalesced because of programs like what AIDA is providing with Aspire and what Dawn is providing with Aspire. So I just wanted to kind of put that in context, because I think it's just, I'm amazed at all the people that are not aware of that. And obviously the people that made that poll of DSOs were not aware of it either.
Agreed. And I always find it interesting that the independent dentists get so frustrated sometimes with their corporate competitors. And I understand that. And, this is the industry, just as JB reported on the news, this is where we're going. But do you choose as an independent dentist then to spend your money with a corporately held dental supply company? Or do you choose to spend your dollars with an independently, privately owned dental supply company? So you have to also look at what we're up against. The dental supply companies that are independently owned struggle to stay independent, just like you do. If we can all partner together, we can all stay in business together. We can all have synergies together, but you have to make a concerted effort to do so. So AIDA really takes that out of it. And all the things that you can get through AIDA through your independently owned dental supply company really makes it apparent.
I think that's a
Oh.
phenomenal point. And it's just so important for people to know what their options are. And that, you know, when they're looking at their P&L at the end of every month and they're trying to figure out how to make the balance sheet work out, that there are alternatives to selling, to partnering with other groups, to leaving dentistry altogether. Because
Oh,
frankly, that's
absolutely.
also a choice that folks are making. So it's just really nice to have one
Which has become a
additional.
hot topic, JB.
Oh,
Like,
it's JB, not to get off subject. I've had 3 doctors that I have had relationships with, you know, in my career contact me just in the last 3-4 months asking me if I can help them find any kind of position within dentistry that doesn't involve doing clinical or owning their own practice.
Yeah.
They don't want to sell, they don't want to work for someone else, but they want to do something else.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. It
Yeah.
just
And
absolutely blows my
if
mind.
that frustration is because of lack of community, of lack of synergies, of lack of like being involved with other people who think like they do, or even just from a true economical perspective, just leveraging buying powers, right? If they get to that point because they just hate dentistry, they hate patients, they hate insurance companies, you know, all the things, I can kind of get to that point. Like I can understand where their headspace is.
Burnout.
But if it's because it evolved to that because of all the other things along the way, particularly that AIDA has kind of found solutions or offering opportunities for, again, it's just so important that you know what your options are. Because quite frankly, leaving dentistry is no easy task either, because you have spent your entire career and a shit ton of money to get good at what you're doing. And it will take that long or longer for you to get good at doing something else. You have your 10,000 hours to be an expert in this particular field. Just because you're really good at being a dentist doesn't mean you'll be a really good salesperson or a really good educator or really good whatever. Like fill in the blank. Dog trainer. I don't care. Whatever it is. Like just
Totally
because
agree.
you did something and you're going to have to go through the same pain of building and expertise and educating and all the stuff. I'm not discouraging anybody. I'm just saying like, it's nice to have all the choices sort of laid out to say there is alternatives to major decisions or soften the blow a little bit or whatever, you know, creative solutions to problems.
And I know all these independent dentistry dental companies that we just talked about that support AIDA. I'm on the phone with these guys every week. They are here to help.
Yeah.
You know, we do have a contact us form, you know, or for more information on AIDA on our website. You know, if you are interested at all, go there, fill it out, and we'll reach out to you. But you know, I just had a conversation with one of the Atlanta dental sales reps this week that he had a doctor that did not buy from him, called on him for a year, was doing business with a competitor, and she got Legionnaire's disease, and she was going to have to sell her practice, or she was going to have to find somebody. She was going to have to do something because she was going to not be able to practice. He literally was able to find her an associate. The associate came on. Fast forward 1.5 years, the doctor ended up coming back, literally switched all of her business over to him.
Yeah.
And now all 10 of them are coming to Aspire this year. I can't wait to meet her.
That's so awesome.
You know, these are the stories. And she's like, you know, the people that I've done business with for all these years, they couldn't help me. You know, this is what these independents are good at, because they're here because of their relationships. That's why they stayed in business this long. Otherwise, they couldn't have.
Yep.
So don't be afraid to reach out to them, contact them. You may be amazed at the problems that they can solve for you.
That's one of the things I've said about supplies for a long time is that, you know, we can look at the order sheet and get stressed out about the cost of cotton rolls or whatever. But what I have always said is that, yeah, but I can pick up my phone. And if something's not right, they're going to be here or help me find a solution in a very short period of time. And that is the true value of having vendor partners in your practice who are partners, who want to see you be as successful. They're invested in you. They care about you. There's emotional and human connection. You're not just
a number,
you're not just an invoice to them.
Yep. Agreed. Couldn't agree more.
So vitally important for young doctors, for practice owners, for anybody out there. to have people who actually genuinely care about their success.
Yep. You can't do everything on Amazon.
No.
Nope.
No.
Well, the other and the last piece of this is that, the one thing that you have done so well with AIDA education, as you mentioned earlier, is make all of these great educational opportunities affordable. And we all know, and I don't care who you are or where you come from, you cannot make education that affordable without educational partners. A lot of people refer to them as sponsors, but really these are true educational partners. These are companies that, it's not, oh, we just want to give you money, so we want your speakers to talk about us.
I don't allow that.
The speakers already use these materials and already talk about these products. And then these companies help partner up and say, yes, we'd like to help offset the cost of education. And, you're so upfront about that. And the educational partners are just such solid companies. And any of the speakers can really feel very comfortable and in knowing that when we talk about any products for the educational sponsors, that these are always products that we truly use or endorse or are familiar with, or, can really speak to well, as opposed to someone just saying, hey, will you talk about this? Or, just put a sign up for us for this because, we're going to give you a few bucks. It's just not how you've ever rolled. It's not how any of us as speakers have ever rolled. And it's one of the reasons this alliance works out so well.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Well, we've come to the end of our hour, but Dawn, thank you so much for being
thanks for
back
having
with
me
us.
tonight. It was good to talk to both of you.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing you in Cabo, hopefully before. And I know you and JB have some cool things going on in the fall. So we're all excited to stay tuned for that. I know that's going to be a huge success, and kudos for all the work you've put into that. I know it's going to be an amazing program.
Can't wait.
With that, JB, do you want to close us out?
I would love to. Well, I made a faux pas tonight. Normally, I feel as though I bring my very best to the news and to the show. I did make that mistake one time about Michigan and Wisconsin, and I profusely apologized for that. But again, tonight, I misled our audience to think that Heartland was actually the industry leader, but in fact, it is AIDA. And so I leave tonight smarter, more educated, and prepared to come back next week a little bit better than I was tonight. I really appreciate everyone coming on and spending a little time with us. I hope I see everybody at Aspire because it truly is one of my favorite events of the year. It's a great way to escape the doldrums of January and coming off of a long holiday season. And with that, we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Thank you,
night.
Dawn. And that wraps up another podcast for Dentists in the Know. On behalf of Dr. Jennifer Bell, Dr. Chad Duplantis, and myself, remember that we've got a great profession, so let's make it a great day, Dinks.